Hey guys, Mustang here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be talking about everything that is going to be upcoming in the next week or so, as well as talking about the date for when the part 2 of the 10th anniversary is going to begin. Now I know it's funny because, you know, the anniversary only really officially started a couple of days ago, and here we are already talking about part 2. I will say I think the anniversary has definitely been very good so far. We got a very good amount of content in the countdown, as well as some interesting things coming out at the very beginning of the anniversary alongside the banners with the different events and things like that. And the fact that more stuff is coming out very soon as well, I think we're definitely looking good so far when it comes to this celebration. Obviously, I know there are people, I've already seen people complain that there's nothing to do, but I mean, you know, I think it's always the same group of people, like players that will literally play for hours non-stop on the first day. And especially when it comes to the anniversary with things like the new blue zone and things like that, right? The stages that we have out already so far are not super difficult. So if you have a strong account, it's quite easy to get through some of that stuff like very quickly. But there's definitely been an interesting amount of content. And we've got more coming very soon, as well, of course, part 2 starting very soon. So there's a couple of things that we can look at here. People seem to have kind of nailed down a date for part 2 starting, so we're going to look at a bunch of different information here. Obviously, one of the first things that we can do is just go back and look at the previous anniversary, so we can see that we had the countdown celebration, and then part 1 started on the 29th, which, I mean, technically part 1 started on the 28th this year, so one day previous, so of course bear that in mind. And then you can see here that the 9th anniversary campaign part 2 started on the 11th. So that would obviously point towards the 10th. Now, bear in mind, the 28th was the Friday, and so the 10th will be Monday. So we are currently, at time of recording, on Sunday the 2nd. So obviously tomorrow will be Monday the 3rd. So essentially a week from tomorrow, we could officially look at part 2 beginning. And then, of course, the anniversary, 9th anniversary, had a part 3, which started on the 22nd. So that would potentially end up being the 21st. But we'll make a video going over that in the future. So we obviously have this previous one. Now, the 11th was when the campaign officially started. But we did get some stuff in the lead up to that. And that kind of goes along hand in hand with some of the news that we've gotten today of things that we are going to see upcoming. Because one of the things we did get just before the beginning of part 2 last time was the Broly Trio EZA. That dropped on the 5th of February. So that would obviously be in the same sort of time frame. That would be in the next few days that we would potentially see another EZA. And of course, today I've already made the video talking about the details, right? We got the announcement for the Gogeta and Janemba Super EZAs with their actual details being leaked and everything, which means that they will obviously be coming out very soon. So they could fill this same sort of time slot. I would imagine with them dropping the info today on Twitter, they should be coming out this coming week. And so if the Broly Trio dropped on the 5th and we're still kind of going by comparing to the last anniversary but like a day earlier, then we're looking at Tuesday the 4th, which makes a lot of sense because if the stuff got tweeted out today, we very often see that stuff coming out in 48 hours time. So I imagine that means tomorrow, Monday the 3rd, we will get a data download. And then Tuesday the 4th is when we will see the Janemba and Gogeta Super EZAs in the game, as well as some of the new content that was mentioned in the news earlier today. So we have the information on upcoming content. We've got the new stages for Dokkan Chronicles, stages 5, 6, and 7, and then stages 3, 4, and 5 of the 10th anniversary battle as well. So I would imagine that these are all going to come out on Tuesday alongside the Janemba and Gogeta Super EZAs. Although bearing in mind with the times they've been doing recently, it's very possible that the EZAs come out a couple of hours before the stages. But either way, this stuff should all hopefully be coming out on Tuesday the 4th. And then that still leaves us in line for Monday the 10th. To be when part 2 of the anniversary starts. So if we take a look at, we've got a couple of tweets to take a look at here as well. So shout out to Annie for posting some of this info. We've got the, so he says part 2 starts on the 10th, right? That's in line with what we know. This means we could expect the EZAs on Tuesday, which again, as we've already talked about. In fact, this tweet is from a couple of days ago, right? So everything lines up here perfectly. We should expect the EZAs on Tuesday, so we should get the EZA details tweeted out on Sunday morning, which has exactly what has happened today, right? And you can see it's because we've got the, we had that post on social media campaign thing for part 1, which began when the anniversary had essentially started and goes up until Monday the 10th, just before 6 a.m, which is when the morning reset thing is for me, UK time at least, for global. Although it's actually, yes, Central European, so it's like 1 hour before, because the EZAs and stuff come out at like 5 a.m. for me now, so this is like 4:59. And this obviously implies that then technically part 2 kicks in like 1 minute later on the 10th, right? We've got a couple of other comments here. I mean, this is from the older thing, right? So this is about the Broly trio that we already talked about. That's exactly a week from the banners, and it's the time frame they dropped the Broly trio last year. They're on the 5th, but obviously it's 1 day previous, so it would be Tuesday the 4th. We also have a comment from Rick, one of the data miners. We're going to look at one of his other tweets here as well in a minute. The home screen banner for the EZA support campaign isn't scheduled to end until the 10th, so it should be when part 2 starts. We might not get our next EZAs until then. I think with the details being tweeted out this morning, we probably have confirmation of that. We have stuff in the data for the next difficult event is for the 7th. Yeah, 7th of February. So that is that Friday? Yeah, that's this coming Friday. And that's when we get the battle-hardened formidable foes. I can't remember if that is that a new event that isn't actually out yet. Is that one of the ones that was data mined before? Yeah, this event is coming, but we still need a data download for the new Diamond stage. So if there's no EZAs, which obviously we do know about now of Gogeta and Janemba, expect news by Tuesday, data download on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, so news came out Sunday, data download should be tomorrow, and then obviously the EZAs for Gogeta and Janemba should be Tuesday, along with this new content that was in the news that came out today, right? The new Chronicles and Anniversary Battle stages. And we also have this interesting bit of information. So with this stuff that came out today, these Dokkan Chronicles and Anniversary stages, there's no preparation period for the stages. So are they done taking down some events before the data download? So what seems to be interesting here that they are doing is that even though the data download essentially needs to happen for the new stages to be available and to have the content actually opened up in the game, they're not taking the stage down, which was a crazy thing to think about before. The fact that, especially in a big celebration like the anniversary, these events that had the preparation period, they would go down for a full 24 hours. Just so that a new stage could be added the next day. And it seems like that is now not going to be the case going forward, which is definitely good. I mean, at the end of the day, for a lot of these things with the early stages, like realistically, you should have done the stages that are available for this already, like until it gets, before it gets to like the day before the new stages come out. But at the same time, it is annoying that that event would be taken down. It's always annoying when it happens for Dokkan events, for like a new character, where they're adding a stage to an existing event, and so then the whole event goes away, and it means you're not able to access it if you wanted to like pre-farm some medals and stuff like that. I know that happened with the Vegito event, like before the banners came out, that the Vegito event was unavailable. So if you wanted to pre-farm those Vegito medals, you had to have done it like up to the day before the banners came out. But yeah, that's an interesting bit of information. No preparation period. So that means that we are just essentially waiting for the data download to get actual confirmation of the date of when things drop. And we have a comment from our boy, obviously the GOAT Proton, confused about no preparation period. Realistically, they never needed to take them down, but it's still weird. Yeah, we've said this for years, right? Very strange that they did that. The only issue is that JP can't schedule individual stages. That's probably why they do it. That's one of the things I never understood as well. Lately, Global's database hasn't been getting the release time for a few individual stages either, so I guess it's becoming more and more like JP. Both versions have been scheduling the individual Daima story event stages without taking the event down. Yeah, because we've been getting these like new stages for that Daima event. It's weird that they've been releasing them one at a time over like an extended period of time. But slowly but surely those stages are all coming out. So, I mean, this is something that isn't, I guess, is not necessarily, it's not necessarily interesting to everybody, but this little bit of information about how the data downloads are working, how things are being scheduled within the game, I do personally think is quite interesting. It does mean that in the future we may not have as much information until the data download actually hits, or if some of these stages As we were saying here about the Dimer ones, both versions have been scheduling the individual stages without the event being taken down. So that means there may potentially be in the future more info that we can get from the data downloads without having to wait like until the stuff gets announced on Twitter, or waiting for like the extra data download the day before, right? Because like, for example, we know the data download should happen tomorrow to add the Janemba and Gogeta and all that stuff. But obviously until that data download happens, we have no idea specifically if that is the date and time, even though all signs do point to that. So maybe going forward, this will be an easier way for us to get a bit more information, but I guess we'll have to see. So basically, to summarize everything, we should have a data download tomorrow, which is Monday the 3rd. The Gogeta and Janemba should hopefully release on Tuesday the 4th, along with these new stages for Dokkan Chronicles and the 10th anniversary battle. And then the part 2 of the anniversary should officially start on the 10th. It'd be interesting to see what that comes out with, because remember, when it comes to part 2, the banners don't drop straight away. Like if we go back to the actual wiki page here for part 2, I think the anniversary, this is around the time the wiki stopped getting updated, because if we go to the anniversary campaign, yeah, they've only got a page for part 1. Let me get up, go to legendary power and get up Beast Gohan here, because then this will give us an idea. I'll do a video in more detail going over the banners and stuff, because obviously now that we've seen the part 1 banner lineups, we'll have a better idea of what the part 2 banners are going to be. In fact, we might be able to literally predict the entire banner. But remember, the last year we saw the celebration part 2 started on the 11th. Beast Gohan came out on the 16th, so that was 5 days later. So if the celebration part 2 does indeed start on Monday the 10th, then that means we will be looking at Saturday. Actually, yeah, it would be, if it's a day earlier, it would be Saturday the 15th. So I wonder if, because the banners dropped on Friday this time around, was it Friday? No, it was Tuesday, wasn't it? So will they drop on Friday the 14th? They could drop on Saturday the 15th. Or would they push it all the way to like Monday the 17th? That's interesting. I will do a video going over that in more detail, the part 2 banners. So part 2 should start Monday the 10th, but that's not when we get the part 2 banners. So do be aware of that. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are you most looking forward to for part 2? What do you think of Janemba and Gogeta's EZAs? What are your thoughts on this stuff to do with the data download and everything? Just let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for part 2? Have you been enjoying the 10th anniversary? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.